Hey everyone, how are you guys doing? If you're new here, my name is Danny Christine. I'm a childcare business owner, consultant, and wannabe lifestyle content creator here on YouTube. And you could really help me out with that by scrolling down and clicking that subscribe button. And while you're down there, you might as well hit that notification bell too, so that you can be notified every single time I post a new video here on my channel. And be sure to keep up with me on Instagram at Danny Christine Consulting. Recently, I hosted a couple of webinars on childcaresites.com that featured beautiful women that serve as childcare industry leaders, whether they were coaches, consultants, or successful childcare business owners themselves. We had a lot to say within those webinars about how childcare programs and providers should be adapting and being flexible during this time as we move beyond this COVID-19 crisis. If you were unable to watch those webinars live, there is still a chance for you to see the replay. Just be sure to subscribe to childcaresites.com, and then on that website you should find the replay for both of those. One of the topics of discussion was how to socially distance in the classroom. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I wanted to continue the discussion about social distancing within the classroom here on my YouTube channel, because I feel like it's something that I did not really talk about enough, and it is super important. When this pandemic first started, we were under the impression that it was not something that was impacting children. And even today, as I'm filming this video, it's not necessarily something that is affecting children in high percentages or great numbers, but at the end of the day, there are still some children who have unfortunately been diagnosed and some children who have lost their lives, way more than 2 months ago when it was basically zero. And that, of course, is causing some people and parents and childcare providers, rightfully so, to panic or have extreme concern. I will not be speaking on the signs or symptoms or what you should or should not do in regards to figuring out if your specific child or your group of children are at risk. I would say if you're concerned, then definitely talk to your child's healthcare provider, or tell your families to talk to their child's healthcare provider, and definitely look at the guidance from CDC and the World Health Organization and all of those people who are the professionals. But within the childcare business, in your centers or your home daycare programs, it is important to acknowledge that we have a lot of children on a normal basis near each other all the time. That is really what our practice of early childhood education mandates and usually involves. So keeping them separate from each other is a challenge. One of the things that we immediately implemented by nature, because it just happened automatically, is smaller class sizes. So as most of us know by now, it is the CDC recommendation for gatherings to be 10 people or fewer. So that is something that we are doing in our program. There are no more than 10 people in a room, including teachers and children. There are some states within the US that have made this specific rule mandatory. As of the date of me filming this video, New York is not one of them, but our licensing is strongly recommending it. And if they're strongly recommending it, it will probably be mandatory soon. And even if it's not, even if your state is not requiring you to do certain things or anything different, it is still your business. You are still liable for what happens within your business. And I would strongly recommend that you do whatever you know is best practice, regardless of whether or not you'll receive a violation for failing to do those procedures, if that makes sense. So smaller class sizes is definitely recommended, and I am aware that this is something that can hurt the bottom line for many programs, mine included. And if this is something that we have to do long term, meaning like beyond the summertime, we might need to reevaluate exactly how much we're going to be charging for these spaces, because we've basically in our preschool classroom cut the size by more than half. So that's more than half of the money that we would normally see coming in for that classroom gone. And while this is something that is best practice, is the safest thing to do according to the CDC, at the end of the day, if you're unable to sustain your business because you have lost your profits, then that's something to consider in the long run. But for now, it should be something that you do because it is necessary. It will be appreciated by families. It might be appreciated by your licensing, and it might just be that you don't have another choice because families aren't choosing to rush back to daycare right now. Another thing that you can do is something that was recommended by our local child care resource and referral agency. I think I might have briefly mentioned this in a different video, but when we want to teach our kids the responsibility of social distancing and kind of give them that responsibility to hold themselves accountable, like our preschoolers, and this might even work for toddlers as well, but our CCR&R recommended that we implement something called helicoptering, where we tell our kids to hold their arms out and spin around and make sure that they do not bump into another helicopter. And that can kind of help to make sure that the kids understand that they need to space themselves out. Another thing that we have been implementing for the past couple of months is alternating the way in which our children sleep. Normally at nap time, our sleeping mats would be 2 feet away from each other and the kids would lay on it how they lay on it. But now they're definitely 6 feet away from each other at least, and they're also alternating the positions in which they are laying down on the mats so that nobody is like face to face, even though they are 6 feet away from each other. Also, spreading out at tables is easy, especially if your class size is reduced. When it comes to outdoor play, I have seen several examples over the past couple of days popping up on Facebook and different social media of how programs in schools, I think mostly in other countries, are implementing social distancing outside. And I've seen an example where a school used sidewalk chalk to draw a box and have kids standing in boxes. And I think it's a photo, so I don't know what was being said or done, but it seems like that might be a great idea if you're going to host, like, I don't know, a kid's Zumba or a kid's exercise routine. Again, it holds them accountable for staying in their space while also being outside and getting fresh air. So those are some examples of how social distancing can work within your program directly related to your children. If you have any more, I would love to hear what your suggestions are. What are you doing in your programs, or what do you plan to do? Or what do you think programs should do? Leave it in the comments below, and I cannot wait to read them. Currently on childcare sites, I have courses that are available for purchase for those of you that are interested in starting up a childcare business. You can purchase low-cost courses to help guide you through that process on childcaresites.com/courses. And if you don't see a specific course topic that interests you, or if you went through all of them and you still have some questions, be sure to book a private individual video consultation with me that will last 45 minutes, and I'll be happy to give you that one-on-one attention and get you started on your childcare business journey. You can do that by going to childcaresites.com/DannyChristine. While you're there, don't forget to subscribe, and also be sure to follow Childcare Sites on Instagram @ChildcareSites. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.